Welcome to Parkville, Maryland, the site of this 70th debate between Robert Cheek and Corey Baker. This is Corey Baker, and this is the Anthem podcast.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's Rob. We're coming straight out of Compton, or straight out of Parkville.
And deep recesses of Parkville.
Yeah, I would say this is far more than the 70th debate. 70,000th, maybe?
Well, I mean, they don't count the debates that people have not on the actual...
Fair enough, yeah.
So, like, this is like a sanctioned space.
Sure, yeah.
So...
Ooh, man, yeah, sorry. So we were just listening to a few excerpts from Dr. Dre's new album, and it, like, gets me excited. I'm just like, oh, God, I love Dr. Dre.
Man, I wish I could buy it somewhere other than iTunes. Because I've done with them. I just can't. And I was done with them way before the latest round of iTunes ridiculous nonsense that's been happening.
This week we are going to be talking about the debate, of course, because that was a big thing that happened this week. Jon Stewart on the same night had his final episode, so that was obviously big. And what happened? We are recording on Friday, as per usual, and tonight we got word that James Holmes, right? James Holmes, the Aurora, Colorado shooter, was sentenced, and so we're going to lead off right there because Corey has some interesting opinions about 4-year-olds getting the death penalty. So let's start there. So, earlier, Corey, you were saying that a 4-year-old who shoots more than 5 people...
Let's back up. I am not a I'm not like a fan of the death penalty.
And strangely enough, I am. I'm a proponent for the death penalty.
Rob is more of a proponent of the death penalty than I am. Yeah. But I feel like there should be sort of like an automatic kick-in point.
Now, in
Whereas
Texas,
if you kill... I was saying like 5.5 people.
5.5 people.
Like if you kill more than 5.5 people, then automatic. Like it's no longer a trial for whether or not you get life in prison. It's whether or not you get the death penalty. 4
normies and Brad Williams gets caught in the crossfire, or 5 normies and Brad Williams gets caught in the crossfire automatically to the chair. So for those of you who weren't up on the news, James Holmes went into a theater back in 2012, I want to say.
It was 3 years and 19 days ago.
Yeah, so midsummer 2012. Dark Knight Rises was coming out. And in Aurora, Colorado, and as soon as I say it, everybody's going to know, went into the theater, went out a back door, came back in with full body armor and like super body armor, throat guards, elbow guards, knee guards, fully armed with a helmet, ballistic helmet and everything. Shot up the theater, 12 dead, 70 wounded at the midnight showing of the movie. And he was convicted earlier this summer of, and I would love my lawyer friends to give me a shout out and figure this out for me. 24 counts of capital murder for killing 12 people. How does that happen? I don't know. On 124 counts altogether. Guilty on all counts. He had pled guilty by not guilty by reason of insanity. The jury said that for them, they didn't find that he was not guilty by reason of insanity. They still could have found him not guilty under other means, but they didn't. They found him guilty. So we then, and you've heard us discuss this before, they enter the penalty phase.
Right.
And the penalty phase in Colorado says, in a capital case, it's simply the question of, is the death penalty appropriate in this case? And the jury has to come to a unanimous decision that the death penalty is appropriate. If not, the automatic sentence is life without parole. And today, what is today? The 7th?
Yes.
Yes. So at 5 o'clock today on the 7th, the jury came back and didn't say life without parole was appropriate. What they said is we could not reach a unanimous decision on death. Therefore, the judge had to impose life without parole.
Right.
So, at 23 years old, James Holmes will spend the rest of his life in a cell in Colorado at a maximum security, and he'll probably actually end up in Supermax. Because they'll try and transfer him to a super.
But he'll live for another 77 years while the 12 people that he murdered.
Well, and probably not because life expectancy in prison is lower.
I'm just throwing out a number.
But sure, 77 years. Yeah. Well, let's say he'll live to be 80. So for the next 60 years, he'll be in prison.
Yeah,
being a ward of the state. Now, part of your argument is that we are going to have to pay so much money for him to live for the rest of his life.
Yeah,
and that amount will far exceed the amount that it would cost to execute him.
Well, also we have a problem with prison population, and I think if we start killing people, then that'll take care of part of that problem as well.
Yes, except for 85% of the population is in there for non-violent, mostly drug-related crimes.
That would help too if we didn't have them in there.
How about let's start there?
Okay,
let's start with letting people out who get a dime bag
rather than the 20 or so a year that are in there for killing more than 5 people in a clip.
Corey's solution is let's kill the killers for more than 5. The police solution is shoot the guy with the dime bag, then he doesn't have to go to jail. I'm the guy who's like, you know what? Let's just let the guy with the dime bag go home. How about that?
Why don't we just write him a ticket
and let him just go
for like $100 and just...
Or let's sell it at 7-Eleven and get some tax money. How about that?
Yeah, oh, that'd be fine as well.
There is the societal balance of the Manson who's just throwing batshit crazy at the wall until some of it sticks, and the girl comes and marries him or whatever, all that stuff.
Yeah,
but I'm okay with that. You let the crazy out a little bit. I would rather that than look. We deal with the Kardashians on E and Manson in prison.
I agree. I think we should switch them.
New reality show idea. Not wife swap. Jail
Manson swap.
Jail swap. We put the Kardashians in. We let Charlie out. Let's see what happens.
We take a member of the Manson family out and put a member of the Kardashians in. It's gold.
That's going to be my pitch. There's a pitch right there. Talk about thinking outside the box. I got something outside the box for you. So the other thing you brought up was the journals.
Yeah.
The journals about killing. And I thought maybe the borderline genius that I am, not borderline, let's be honest, the full genius that I am.
The full-blown genius. The raging genius.
Those of you who have read my book, Foe.
By Rob's Books.
Which is available on Amazon at robertandcheek.com. And actually, in the show notes, right? You've been putting it in the show notes. So yeah, click on the thing in the show notes. That if
it's on the YouTube, it's everywhere. So
it's
just buy it.
If I was to ever kill anyone, that would be state's evidence number 1.
Yeah.
But if I never kill someone, then it's just a work of fiction. If James Holmes had never killed anyone and someone had found those notebooks, he'd be like, look at this crazy fiction that this guy wrote. But it's all about how you see it after the fact. But seriously, you've read through that book. If I ever kill someone, they're going to say, look how crazy this dude was, and we never saw it. They'll listen to the podcast and say, look how crazy this dude was, and we never saw it.
Well, at least somebody will listen to the podcast.
It'll become famous because it'll be played at trial. And they'll be like, we got to listen to this crazy shit.
Why didn't we have advertising for the first so many episodes? I could be rich right now.
Yeah, YouTube ads. Oh, except for they'll have to pull the ads because I can't benefit from it after the fact.
No, it's all in Corey's name. Don't worry about it. Rob was just a volunteer. There's no paperwork. You know what else goes up?
What?
Membership and purchase of guns.
Okay.
Membership in the NRA and purchase of guns goes up way up every single time there's a shooting.
Yeah, you know who that benefits?
The gun makers and then the NRA.
Well, also the Republican Party. Funny thing, they just had a debate this week.
Yeah. Smooth.
Gotta love it.
Oh.
Anyway, and it was both of those topics were big during the debate. Not so much on the 1,100 people killed by police last year. Not so much on the.
Well, there's another debate.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll get to it.
Maybe they're saving it for the.
I'm sure they'll get to it.
It's like when you're Springsteen.
Yeah.
You don't want to start with Born to Run.
Oh, okay.
You play a couple songs to get people warmed up to it.
Right.
So
not so much on the socioeconomic differences in the country, not so much on the economic turmoil, not so much on the anything really at home.
Yeah.
Basically, they spent an hour planning our next war, and then another
shit talking Hillary Clinton.
20 or 30 minutes shit talking to Democrats, mostly Hillary Clinton, who I can guarantee you is not even she isn't the front runner and probably won't be the candidate at this point. And then another 40 minutes talking about how they're going to send us into a default on our debt that will inevitably lead us to
There's a lot of abortion talk, too.
I'm sorry. Yes, they did touch on some social issues. The gays are scary. The transgenders are scary. And abortion is wrong in all facets of life. And by the way, a little smattering of God told me that I need to run for president.
Right.
And I don't know who's crisscrossing messages because God is telling everybody to fucking run for president. God's telling me to run for president. Maybe I need to throw my hat in the ring.
I do.
Oh God. Anyway, so you watched the debate. You watched
prayed to the god of properly inflated footballs.
You watched the debate.
Yeah.
If you want to call that a debate. It was I call shenanigans on the whole thing, but there was only really one moment of debating at all.
Well, I would say that what that was last night was professional wrestling without the wrestling.
Yes.
It was a lot of people talking. Like, it might as well have just been Trump going, like, you know what, brother?
It was the back...
I'm going to go wild all over everybody here.
It was
Rand Paul, when I meet you at WrestleMania.
It was the interviews in the dressing room before the wrestling matches.
Right, except they just did it on a stage.
In front of each other.
Yeah. Because, like, if you watch the opening, too, like, the 10 minutes prior to... 9 o'clock or whatever.
I didn't want Fox News to get any more ratings than they could have.
They had a shot, like the crane shot kind of thing, where it was like going around the entire arena and showing people going like nuts and like it was just like, we're live here in Cleveland, Ohio for the first presidential debate, first Republican. Yeah, you know, like, and it seemed like. Look at the first 10 minutes of that debate and watch the first 10 minutes of Raw on Monday nights or SmackDown or something like that. It's basically the same exact thing.
Yeah.
And, and the posturing was just as good, but the bodies were disappointing.
I don't know. A couple of them are working on those Scott Steiner six-packs. I mean...
Well, Craig Christie does kind of look like Yokozuna.
Craig Christie? Yeah. But no, there were two moments of actual debate.
Yeah.
Rand Paul and Chris Christie.
Mm-hmm. Go Rand.
Yeah, in which Chris Christie doesn't understand what he's advocating for, clearly. And then I think it was Cruz and maybe it was Rand Paul and Cruz talking about the Iran deal. I want to say it wasn't Rand Paul, though. In which both of them were arguing about how they would... it was Trump and Cruz talking about how they would... The first day in office, they would throw out the Iran deal. Both of them not understanding how treaties work. Yeah. That once a treaty has been enrolled by Congress, not by the president, by Congress, it's then binding on the United States until... such time as it's no longer binding on the United States.
Count to two. Right. But I feel like the prerequisite for being president of the United States should be count to two. Right. 35 years old, legal citizen, can count to two.
Oh, shit. Well, can we touch on the fact that Ted Cruz can't be president? Sure. Anyway, we'll touch on that later. Go ahead.
We'll just wait till he gets elected before we cross that bridge.
Right. Anyway, so who was the two?
Ted Cruz has a big, huge celebration to celebrate being elected president. He's just like, oh guys, man, I'm so sorry, but I actually can't do this. So here's Sarah Palin and Michelle Bachmann. They're gonna take over.
Yeah, I'm going back to Canada.
Enjoy your Armageddon, people. I would like, though, if like one of them would just be like, just take the opportunity to be like, listen, I may not agree with Hillary. I don't think she's suitable to be president. I mean, personally, I think you should vote for me, but yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not, just because
I'm not lowering to that level.
Yeah, I'm not slinging mud in the schoolyard. Yeah, because I think that person's the one who gets a lot of talk the next day.
Right. Be different. Be different.
Yeah.
So,
and I really wish that Lindsey Graham took the opportunity to only say 2 words to like get a little bit like off guard and just be like, "I'm gay." I mean, shit. I didn't mean to do it here.
So,
yes, there's a reason why I'm still single and don't have kids.
Hey, I'm single and don't have kids.
At 70 years old.
I'll be single and don't have kids at 70 years old.
You will leave a trail of illegitimate children. Illegitimate rubs.
Possibly. Next. A winner and a loser from the debate.
I would give the win to Marco Rubio.
Not for what he said, but looking presidential.
Well, I mean,
and the way he said it.
I mean, at this point in the campaign, I'm just looking for people who don't anger me to the point of furiously shitting my pants. And Marco Rubio accomplished that. Yeah. So therefore, I declare him the winner.
Sure. Okay.
He's the one who left as little shit in my pants as possible.
Okay. Must have been bad watching the debate with him. Good Lord.
It was stinky, to be sure. The losers, in my mind, nobody. I mean, the good news is that nobody had like a Rick Perry moment. Nobody did anything so untoward that their campaign is over.
Yeah,
and they can't recover, kind of thing. Everybody, most of them just treaded water,
right?
Which is perfectly fine. Except for one person who couldn't tread water, one person who had to rise above expectations put of them, which was Jeb Bush, and he very much did not do that.
Right.
I think.
Anyway, I would say that I'm going to disagree with you about the winner for a different reason.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the winner was Rand Paul because he showed himself to be essentially not a Republican.
Yeah.
Which I think is going to be good for him. Not with Republicans, but with Democrats, arguably like us. Not that you're a Democrat, but
right.
People who are non-centrist Republicans who said this guy is different, and people who are conservative-minded who will want to vote for something different. And I was going to say to pick my loser is Donald Trump because he is great on the campaign trail, but he showed that when he gets around career politicians, he's nothing more than a soundbite.
Yeah, and but here's the thing.
He puts on a good show.
And
he's a good spinner, but he's not good.
He's way better at spinning than anybody else in that room was.
But he's a Democrat in Republican clothes.
Yeah. Oh, I'm fine with that too, though. I'm not gonna vote for Trump.
No.
But I mean, like hypothetically, if there was a candidate who was like him, who wasn't Donald Trump.
Yeah. Oh, that might be okay with it.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
If it wasn't Donald Trump, I'm okay. And I told you, he's good for democracy. He's good for the election. But if it was anybody else, if Donald Trump could find somebody else to support who was just like him, but not him, I'd be down for that guy, but just not Donald Trump.
If there was Ronald Rump running for president.
Exactly right. I would be down for that. So before we go.
Yeah.
Jon Stewart's final show is this week.
Yes.
Super sad.
Sad panda.
But I can't believe that my life was changed by Jon Stewart. Because...
Ooh, explain.
Well, because...
This sounds insightful, so what I'm going to say right now is if you want more of the Anthem... being into politics when you were in high school was not the cool thing to do. Right.
But in 99, I guess is when he took over, right? 99?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we were going into our sophomore year of high school.
Yeah.
He took over in September of
Jon Stewart has been the host of The Daily Show longer than we've been friends.
Yes. Is that weird? That's super weird.
Yeah. When you put it in that context.
I know.
I feel like I've known you my whole life.
Really? Heterosexual life mates. That's what I was telling somebody the other day. I'm like, how to describe him? You ever seen Clerks? We're basically just heterosexual life mates.
We're basically like Jay and Silent Bob, only the fat one is the one who talks all the time.
Could be that, yeah. Going on in the world and everything, and then Jon Stewart comes in the world. And the first year wasn't really that big. But then 2000, the election of 2000 especially, is when he really took off in doing what he did.
Mm.
And it made politics interesting, and it made what was going on in the world cool.
Yeah.
And then that's for people to be like, what are you... And I'm like, you got to watch this Jon Stewart guy, and he's going to put it in terms that you can... It's funny, and it's entertaining, and it also is insightful, and it lets you know what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
And then we followed with Jon from the bowl cut in 99 to the oversized suits in the early 2000s, and he's been with us from the election of 2000 through
9/11.
Through 9/11, when the first live show I watched afterward, I think was Jon Stewart, like 4 or 5 days later when he came back on the air, and he cried, and we were like, okay, we're allowed to cry about this is fine, and we're allowed to laugh, and that's okay too. And
I'll put that in the show. I think we put that in the show notes before.
Yeah.
That was a really great moment.
And
I mean, it was a terrible moment at the time, but I mean, like, Jon knew how to make everything a little bit easier.
And in college, I mean, it was every major thing that happened, and every major thing that has happened in our adult lives he's been there to offer that side opinion, that like funny news opinion, so much so that now that is how I would rather go to him for my news than regular news sources.
Yeah.
And just to think about that was so many 4 years of college, just getting my news, my sole source of news other than the internet, was The Daily Show, followed by The Colbert Report.
Think about where we were when John started and where we are now.
Yeah. That's a crazy thing to think. We went from high school where having so much crazy. The idea of a cell phone was like if I get stuck on the side of the road, then there's no payphone. I want to have something. And now I've been getting alerts the entire time here.
The day that Jon Stewart became the host of The Daily Show, I was never more proud of my Motorola Razr. Right. And now, if I can't watch live streaming video of somebody periscoping their shit...
What is this, the Dark Ages? Yeah, like... Go swiftly into the good night, Jon Stewart.
Yeah, thank you for all the memories.
Yeah. So...
If you want more of The Anthem, otheanthem.com, Corey at otheanthem.com, O The Anthem on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, YouTube, and the listener line, which I hope is filled with things like... Corey, you're the new Jon Stewart, or Rob, you're the new Donald Trump. And you can reach us there at 443-219-7595.
What's the number again?
443-219-7595.
And you can find me on all your social networks at Robert N. Cheek. Make sure to check out robertncheek.com. There you can find links to my books. You can find links to all of my other websites, foundingthefuture.us, deaddrop.com, and everything else that you can... Sorry. Bug in my face. All the other links to everything for me. So
buy Rob's books.
Yay. So
yeah. Well, I think we did good.
You always forget the out. What? So let's try that again. Take two.
I think we did good here today.
I think we did something. I don't know if it's good.
All right. But for Corey.
Oh God. As always, you're listening to the O The Anthem podcast, part of the growing O The Anthem Digital Network. For Corey and Rachel, who's been silent the whole time, but she's here. Oh, that's right, we don't have video, so she's here. This is Rob.
You want to know because she didn't kick your mic stand this episode.
No, that was Corey punching his own nightstand. Nightstand.
Nightstand?
Oh, it's late. It's been a long day. So for Corey and Rachel, this is Rob. Have a great week, everyone.